Hello, it's me. I'm just wrapping up week 3 of sleep restriction therapy for insomnia. Today is day 21. I have some updates for you. I believe the last time I checked in, it was about 2 weeks ago. I was like probably sleeping at the end of my first week. I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours on average. Um, Now I'm sleeping between 5.5 hours and 6.25 hours. Yeah. So doing pretty well so far. Today is the first day in a long time that I actually felt like I was 95% rested throughout the day. It was a pretty good day. I don't know what that means for tonight. I don't know if I'll be sleepy by the start of my sleep window or not. We will see, but so far everything's been going pretty smoothly. I haven't had a no sleep night in a while, which is pretty good. I think it's been like 14 or 15 days since my last no sleep night. I think after that last one, I kind of maybe turned a corner. Um, I don't know. Like the first week was like serious, like what's it called? Exposure therapy, because I was so freaked out by all of this, and I still am. But I think that after I got through that first week and had my first good sleep after that first week, um, I kind of started to untangle from it all a little bit. Like I was starting to think differently about it. Um, I knew that after I slept 7 hours, I slept like 5 hours the next night, which didn't feel great, but I started to rationalize with myself more. Like, okay, like if I can sleep for 5 hours after sleeping 7 hours, then I can sleep at least 5 hours a night, right? So and when I have a bad night, I know the next night will be better. Um, it just kind of, I don't know, rationality took hold of me at some point. I'm still dealing with a lot of anxiety, but it has decreased significantly by the end of week 3. And hopefully, as things progress and I start to feel more rested, I will continue to sleep well and just know that a bad night just means the next night's going to be probably a good night. Um, and just go back to kind of thinking the way I would have thought before the insomnia happened, which is kind of the goal, I think. One thing I kind of wanted to bring up, when I recorded my first video, I was talking about the practice of stimulus control, which is when you get out of bed every 20 minutes or so to avoid being in bed with that hyper arousal and that anxiety, because you don't want to condition your brain to think that the bed is for anxiety. And that makes sense. You want the bed to be a strong stimulus for sleep, which is why it's called stimulus control. And I was talking about how it wasn't working for me after about 3 weeks. And I think I kind of regret saying that. Not because I wasn't speaking my truth, but because cognitive behavioral therapy techniques for insomnia can take a long time to kind of show results. And I was just doing that one practice for a while, and I wasn't really getting results with it by the end of 3 weeks, but 3 weeks is nothing in insomnia land, really, unfortunately. Things would be great if they went faster, but it doesn't always go that way. So I just wanted to kind of say that if you are implementing CBT-I techniques, don't take what I said about stimulus control to heart too much. You should still be doing it if that's what your plan is. You should definitely keep up with it for longer, at least 6 to 8 weeks. In addition to your sleep restriction, and all your sleep hygiene stuff. So I just wanted to say that and say it is a technique that works. It might not be as effective for some people as it is for others, but it is an effective technique, and if I had stuck with it longer, it probably would have had a little bit more of an impact. But that said, I am kind of glad that I discovered the acceptance and commitment therapy model, which is it trains you to kind of stay in bed, but you learn how to not have anxiety. You learn how to just stay in bed and rest and kind of deal with the anxiety as it comes and learn how to let it pass. And it's a lot harder to implement. But for me, I particularly value the time in bed where I get to relax and conserve my energy and even clock in those hours of light sleep that I probably don't even know that I'm getting. But that's just my view of it. But if you are doing CBT-I, you should stick with it for 6 to 8 weeks. If you're not getting the results that you want, then maybe with consultation from your sleep therapist or sleep coach or whoever you're talking to, move on to ACT and kind of experiment with those techniques a bit as well. But you can also, read the sleep book and kind of glean what it has to offer as well. I don't see any reason why, you can't practice those techniques during the day. You should be practicing those techniques during the day, those mindfulness techniques. But anyway, kind of a lot to cover. I hope everybody's doing well. I will probably be back in a couple more weeks. I don't really feel the need to provide updates more than every 2 weeks at this point. So hopefully when you hear from me in 2 weeks, things will be continuing to improve. And I'm sure there will be an extinction burst at some point where I have a terrible night and I am tempted to just dwell on it and be mad and miserable. And I probably will be all those things, but I will probably also remember that I do still have insomnia. It's not gone yet. I'm not recovered. I still have a long way to go before I know whether I'm recovering. So we'll see. This is never a linear process for anyone that I've heard. So with that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.